Hi, I am Harsha, your friend, your colleague, your brother, and a co-traveler in this life. My objective of my videos is purely to help people, to guide them with the very precious information about food for soul meditation in its purest form, without any corruption, contamination. And in this today, I am continuing with my next series of morality. We have been talking about the psycho-spiritual, or rather the psycho-physical part of the morality, psycho-physical emanations. And psycho-physical emanations had 5 parts, 4 of which I have already discussed. This is the 5th one, the last of the psycho-physical emanations. And that part of morality is Aparigraha or Non-Indulgence. Aparigraha or Non-Indulgence. Now, let us, there is a Sanskrit definition given for this, and the literal translation would be to reject or non-acceptance or non-accumulation, you accumulate, non-accumulation of any material or object which is in excess of your needs. Not within your needs, but in excess of your needs. Or non-indulgence. You pamper yourself. Non-indulgence in the enjoyment of such comforts of life which are superfluous for the preservation of life. We need to preserve our life, and we need everything that is required. And you have, by all means, you must have everything of those, and I'll discuss that now. But beyond that, whatever you accumulate or indulge would be breaking the spirit of Aparigraha or non-indulgence. Now, for existence, we need food, we need clothes, we need a house. These are our main needs. Everybody needs it. It's our fundamental requirement. Every individual should be ensured that he must have it. For old age, we need security. When one gets old, you are no longer able to work. So you must have sufficient for yourself and those who are going to take care of you. In terms of money, house, you need to have those things. And we also need to provide for our children, for those who are dependent on us. We need to provide for them. All these 3 things, not just 3 things, 5 things. Food, clothes, shelter, medical treatment, and education. It is all needed. In many of the countries, most of the countries, it is not secure. It's not guaranteed. Few countries in the world have this. These developed countries in the Scandinavia comes to my mind, where all these 5 facilities are available to one and all, guaranteed. So these things are necessary. So we must understand the number of factors before deciding, before evaluating what constitutes within our needs and what doesn't. Otherwise, there will be a conflict. Now, the needs differ from one age group to another age group. A young person has one kind of needs, physically, mentally. We can discuss all these things like, there are so many things, whether it is type of food or whether it is type of clothes, type of shoes, and so on. I'll talk about it also. And as you grow older, your requirements change. You need different type of clothes, you need different type of facilities. So, one age group to other age group, things change. People living in cities and people living in villages or the urban, rural areas, their requirements and needs are differing. They are differing. They are different. In city, you need one type of facilities, whereas in the village, you need another set of facilities. Another type. You don't need that. They may be, many things are common, but certain things are different. So, that factor must be understood. Then there is difference in climate. Some areas are tropical areas, warm areas. Some areas are very cold areas. So, different type of clothes are required. Different type of foods are required. Somewhere you need more water, somewhere you need lesser water, or some other kind of thing. In dry areas, you don't require umbrellas. In other areas, you require umbrellas. So, you need to preserve your body. In hot areas, you require air conditioning. Gulf areas, India, very hot. You need air conditioning. You can't survive otherwise. And if you go to the cold areas, you need heating. So, that is to be understood. So, different things are required to determine the limits of an individual for the preservation of his life. These are all very relative factors. And for example, a physical laborer, he needs to eat more food. He needs more nourishment, physical nourishment, because he needs to work hard. Whereas an intellectual person who's using more of his intellect is not using so much of his physical movements. They are not so much of physical movements. He's not lifting weights. Such a person requires lesser food. So, these factors has to be finally agreed or decided between the society and the individuals. The society that that individual is living in will be able to understand, and they should all decide that few things that can be understood. That to what extent can you accumulate wealth? How many houses do you need? How much land do you need to have? If you are an agricultural person, you may need more land. But if you are not an agriculturist, there is no need to have so much of land. People have huge number of villas. They are super rich people, accumulating huge amount of garments, shoes, and fashion. And there are people who don't have clothes. So the earth, you see, this planet has got limited resources. It does not have infinite resources that people can keep on having infinite number of things. And if a few people manage to grab most of the things, the rest of the population has got nothing. You see, there's an extreme division between the rich and the poor. It is because of this problem. This non-indulgence is being broken. Aparigraha is not being followed. And actually, why this disease is there? What is the cause of this weakness? There is a reason for it. And the reason is spiritual. Again, a spiritual point. As I have told you time and again in the past videos, that a unit mind or the unit entity has been created from the infinite entity. And its goal is to merge with that infinite entity again. That is the journey. And for that you need to balance yourself. You have to tune your vehicle. You have to do all sorts of things. But remember that because you have that goal of infinity in your soul, inside you, in your core, your desires are infinite, is for infinity. And this desire can be fulfilled at a mental, psychic and spiritual levels. Because there are no boundaries. You can expand your mind as much as you want. You will not, deny somebody for that space. But physically it is not possible. And because individuals do not have access to this knowledge, they don't have access towards meditation and higher levels of mind, how to penetrate and do all those things. They do not have the taste for it. They divert their entire energy and mind towards physical items. They try to satisfy their infinite thirst through physical means. And this is the problem. also what attacks this is greed. So the greed is one of the major contributors to this indulgence, breaking of this non-indulgence factor. So there has to be a constant effort to keep controlling your greed as well. Now, let us remember one more thing. We may think that today, I have a bicycle and I'm okay with that. 20 years back, 30 years back, bicycle was good enough. But you see, the societies are developing all the time. And the basic necessities are improving. Is what was minimum requirement yesterday no longer satisfied. What was considered as luxury yesterday, today has become a minimum requirement. If you had a bicycle, you'll need a motorcycle. If you had a motorcycle, you need a car. That is the way societies are developing. There was a time when people used to move by horses. It doesn't mean that today you move by a horse. So, you need faster modes of movement. What was considered as a luxury yesterday, like air travel, is very normal today. I go to airports, I see it like a railway station. Because that has become very, very normal. There was a time when mobile phones, cell phones were considered to be luxury. Today even the poorest of guys has a cell phone. Without a cell phone, we can't even think. Now the landline phones have become obsolete. So, with time, we have to keep in mind that time, place and person are impacting upon this non-indulgence. The objects of necessity or pleasure will increase or decrease with time, place and person. Right? These are all relative things. But the definition and spirit of non-indulgence or aparigraha will remain the same. So, as an individual, I would say that please, whenever you are in any situation, for example, I look at myself, I say I need, let's say, 2 or 3 pair of shoes for going to office. I need couple of pair of shoes for my sports or walking. And maybe a couple of sandals, slippers for the movement inside the house, and that's it. It doesn't mean that I have a wardrobe of 30-40 shoes. I need to see time, I need to have a good watch. One watch I need for the office, one I need while playing. So, I can have 2 or 3 watches. That's it. I don't need to collect, the designer watches and so on. It's not necessary. So, you have to decide for yourself, okay, fine. If you are moving around in a very sophisticated circles, by all means you must have high quality watches or high, branded watches. So, but you must see that there is a limit to your consumption. You are a human being. At the end of the day, You are born naked, you'll die naked. Okay? You will be buried or you will be cremated and you will be gone. So there is nothing special about you, physically speaking. It is your mind which is remaining unsatisfied and driving you in all kinds of mad directions. And that's why this is a part of morality. If this is out of control, your senses go out of control, you will not be able to concentrate on meditation. And if you keep yourself within limits, you will feel there is a calm, there is a peace within you. We are not saying that you shouldn't protect yourself. We are not saying that you shouldn't have anything that you need. But do not overindulge. Thank you very much for this patience. And with this video, I come to the last of the 5 points of Yama Sadhana or Psycho Physical Emanations. Then now, henceforth, I'll start with the 5 points of Physico-Psychic Movement, the Niyam Sadhana. The 5 points of that, which I'll discuss from my next video onwards. Thank you for watching, and please share this with your friends. And I genuinely hope that this is helping you guys, and I will continue to do it. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.